You guys know me, I love trying out new tools. Just like the average garage worker, I get so excited when I get a new one. And whether they're awesome,
oh my god, it's working!
or it turns out they kind of suck.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I love testing them out and seeing what works. So in this video, I'm gonna go over some tools that the average guy doesn't own, but I wish I knew about them a lot earlier than I do now. So let's rip right into it and check out this first tool. So if you're the average woodworker, you're gonna dabble in some different joints. Arguably the strongest woodworking joint in woodworking, a really strong joint in woodworking is the mortise and tenon. Oh, I hope I said that right. But the machine to make those joints is insanely expensive. Let's be honest, unless you're a professional cabinet maker, you're not buying that thing. You're just gonna spend the extra time to drill out those holes and chisel out the corners. That is until I came across this thing. This is a mortise and tenon jig that can go onto a drill. And when I got it, I was crazy skeptical. I'm not super good with words. I was super skeptical about it too. I mean, let's be honest, you can see how flimsy it is. I thought no way this was gonna work. But all you gotta do is attach it to your drill and you can make square holes like the best of them. Wait, who's the best at that? But here is a big old chunk of oak. I'm not making anything out of it, but let's put a big old square hole in it. Now, I'll be honest guys, this is $40 compared to, so it's definitely not as graceful as just pulling a lever down and you got a beautiful square hole. You gotta finesse it a little bit. Square hole. How cool is that? And just like that, you can turn that square into a rectangle. Was it the most easy and graceful thing ever? No. But you know, this thing's pretty cool. It's like the 10th of the price of the actual machine. And yeah, if you're building furniture on the regular, buy the actual machine. But if you're like me, this is a cool jig. It's super universal. I don't even think it says that it'll fit on a Milwaukee, but I got it too. It comes with a bunch of different sizes. And I have no idea if you could fit this on a drill press. I don't have one to test it out. I really don't see why you couldn't. But if you can, it would pretty much make your drill press a mortise and tenon machine on its own. But really cool jig if you want to experiment with this stuff. I'd check it out. So this is another jig that you can make, but man, is it nice just to have a metal and plastic one. So this is a circle cutting jig, and you guessed it, you use it to make circles. And I personally don't make circles too often. There's a couple end tables I made with circle tops, and I did it the same way that you probably do. And that's tracing a circle on it, cutting it out with the jigsaw, then just using a circle template to cut it out with your router. And I guess that works. A lot of screwing around. But now just a simple jig, which I know doesn't look big, but it'll cut out circles up to 55 inches. And again, it's just nice quality. It'll last forever and a really good price. I got this beautiful piece of walnut. I really don't know what to do with it. It's kind of a weird shape. So I'm thinking I'm gonna make a really cool Lazy Susan out of it. If you guys got any other ideas what I can do with this scrap piece, I would absolutely love to hear it. And make sure you just hit that subscribe button so you can see what we turn this into. This thing's just super nice to have in the shop, and it'll just save you a lot of time where you don't have to trace it out and all that other BS. So if you have a table saw, it probably came with something like this. I never use mine. Not because I don't want to, but because the ones that come with the table saw are trash. And that's where this bad boy comes into play. Now this is a professional miter gauge. And I'm guessing you've never used these either, but if you switch to one of these, I guarantee you're gonna be using it all the time. So let's bring my table saw over here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this one comes from Enjoy Wood. Crazy good price for how many features this thing has. Because it's got a lot. And honestly, I probably haven't even figured them all out yet. Okay, we're gonna try and run through this fast because there are a lot of them here. So come on over here and take a look. Just kidding, I don't have anyone that works for me. It's just me here. Okay, so first off, it's got knobs so you can adjust the fence however you want so it doesn't hit your blade, obviously. It's got an absolutely beautiful, nice handle to swing this back and forth. Get your angles, pull it out. Automatically locks every 5 degrees. Or if you want something crazy like, where am I at? 27 degrees, put it at 27. You can lock that handle down and you're right at 27. So you have your degrees here. It also has a measurement up here that you can set right to the blade. Comes with this really cool stopping jig. So you can grab your stock, Set that at whatever measurement that you need, lock it down, put your stock up against that, and then boom, you got your measurement. What's crazy and super nice about this is that it actually comes with a magnifying glass, so you know exactly where you are. And another insane feature is they have micro adjustment on here, so you can micro adjust exactly where you want it. How cool is that? Now, micro adjusting is so cool. I've never seen that on a miter gauge. But what happens if you want to cut some stock that is bigger than this? Well, no worry. All you got to do is unclip these, and it is actually extendable, giving you so much more room that you can cut your stock on. It extends so much that my camera doesn't even capture it all. Which, this amount of extension is insane. I'm sure I'm going to use it one day and I'll be really happy that I have it then. But for a gauge like this to do something like this is absolutely crazy. Now, I've built one of these cross-cut sleds, and yeah, they work great. They're good. If you have a table saw and you like woodworking, you should have one. But after using this thing, I really don't use this thing anymore. Which, I get it, this is a couple bucks in plywood and 2x4s, but I think you'd be pretty decently surprised on the price on this. And this thing lets you cut angles, which the cross-cut sled does not, and micro adjusting. I'd like to see a crosscut sled do that. Anyways, I wish I knew about this thing a lot earlier. It's an awesome tool, because if you're trying to do woodworking, you got a table saw, you need something like this. Stop using pieces of junk like this. These things are never accurate anyways. Now, this one's super simple, but I think it's really important. Maybe not important, but it just makes your life easier. And that is just a good glue bottle. This one actually comes with two features. It starts out as your regular ketchup bottle, and it also comes with a roller for it. If you're just starting out, you're gonna be working with pallet wood. I do it all the time. You're gonna be gluing a lot of strips of wood together. And like some jerk, I've just been using my finger the whole time. I mean, what am I doing fingering this stuff all day? And I'll be honest, I don't think this thing saves you any time, but this will make sure you got a nice even coat, and it just doesn't make it as messy. Look at that, fingers are dry. But I will say it is nice to have a refillable container that is airtight. A lot of my projects, I take glue straight from the jug, and one day I forgot to close it. I mean, take a look at this. Like queso that went bad. Yellow ricotta coming right at you. So yeah, here's a half gallon of glue I won't get back. So if you're a dummy like me and you forget to close the lid, at least you're only losing a maximum of 8 ounces. Instead of a half gallon. So this next one you can definitely make yourself, but man, this one's so much nicer than anything you're gonna make. So this right here is a spline jig, and this one's super nice. First off, it's all metal, so if you drop it, like you know you're going to, you don't gotta worry about your 45s getting messed up, something breaking. This thing is super solid, and it comes with a lot of cool features. You got a stop block here to make sure that you're getting consistent cuts, and a really nice hold down so your pieces don't go flying off of it. You can even raise and lower the arms depending on how big your workpiece is. So we're gonna test this thing out. For that, we need a couple 45s. So we're gonna glue those up real quick. And you can see I'm already putting my glue bottle to good use. So if you've done a little bit of woodworking, you know that these 45s are not a very good joint. They're not super strong, and you don't really wanna leave them like this. The spline not only adds a really cool decorative look to your piece, but also makes these joints a lot stronger. I made a really cool box, and I just cannot find it to show you guys. But for the sake of the video, we're just gonna say it kinda looked like this. That's believable, right? But we got our 45s. Now these pieces are definitely oversized, but for the sake of the video, I think it's gonna help you out. So to cut a spline, you wanna set your table saw so it's going through the majority of your wood. And then from here, all we gotta do is adjust our fence to where we want our spline. Lock it in place. Plug in our table saw. Excuse me. Turn on our table saw. And there you got it. And just like that, we got our splines cut out, and these things are comically huge. But okay, now we got to cut some strips of wood that are the same width of the blade that we use the cut for, and that is what we're going to use as our spline. So I got my strips of wood, or the spline, whatever you want to call it. Problem is I made these too big to where it's not going to completely cover the cut. So my idea for making these giant so that you can see it better is kind of backfiring. This isn't going to look great, but you're going to get the point. So here it is glued up. You can see the issue. It doesn't go all the way up to the corner. My splines are not big enough, but this is all I got. Obviously, a ginormous spline doesn't need to be this big. For video purposing, I think you get the point. And then once the glue dries, all you gotta do is cut the excess off and give it a quick sand. And I should have used a different wood so you could see it a little bit better. So I made 2 of these, one with splines and one without. I'm gonna see if I can break these joints just to prove how much these splines actually help. So first up, one without. And I'm using 1-inch thick stuff, so I'm kind of thinking I'm not gonna break it. Feel the power! All right, now for the one with splines. Okay, I can't get this one. Let's see if I can stand on it and break it. This is a good way to hurt myself. That is strong. I am skateboarding. And I know I'm crazy strong, but I was not putting that much pressure on that first joint. So hopefully that proves to you how much stronger those splines actually make this. And not only does it make it a lot stronger, I think it makes it look really cool too. So if you're in the market for one, definitely check this one out. Now this last one's more of a safety feature than a tool, but routers are the most dangerous tool in your shop. And you guys can probably tell I'm not the safest guy in the world, but these things can make me nervous. So when I watch people doing layouts just holding the base of this thing, it kind of gives me the ick. So grab yourself a good pair of handles. This is just a handle set that a compact router will fit in. Not only is it gonna help you just steer that router a lot better, it's just a much safer option to have handles. It's more secure, and it's keeping your fingers away from spinny sharp bits, which I think is the goal, right? These ones just in particular, make sure that your router will actually fit in it. A Milwaukee will not. Of course, Milwaukee's gotta have that adjustment thing sticking out, so you have to buy Milwaukee products in order to have something like this. Go figure. But maybe you see me using my Performax router that's got handles on it already. So whenever I'm doing inlays or something like that, I'm using that router. It's a lot more stable and safe. Great thing to have in the shop. But that's the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think, what I should do next. What video do you want to see me do? But until next time, grab a beer and build something.